When you think about really dangerous financial advice, your mind probably goes to some kind of obvious scam,
Yeah.
right? Like an email trying to get your bank details or some get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, the flashy stuff.
Exactly. But the stuff that's really insidious, the bad advice that costs you, years of opportunity, maybe even a decade of comfort in retirement, it doesn't look like a scam at all.
No, not at all. It's packaged as common wisdom.
Right. It's simple, it's memorable, and it sounds just smart enough that you trust it. And the result isn't some big sudden crash in your portfolio. It's just quiet, steady underperformance for decades, all while you think you're doing everything right.
That is the perfect way to put it. And that really is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to take the sources you've pulled together and basically dissect which pieces of financial wisdom actually hold up.
And which ones don't?
And which ones just sound like a great headline, but, they fail miserably when you actually apply them to your own life.
So understanding that difference is key.
It's the shortcut. It's how you stop, constantly playing catch up and start building a real personalized roadmap to financial independence.
Okay, so let's tear into what is probably the biggest, stickiest financial myth out there, the one you hear everywhere.
The big one.
The idea that you need exactly $1 million to retire. We're going to spend this dive figuring out why this seven-figure target is so popular and why, frankly, relying on it is just a terrible financial plan.
It really is.
So let's start with the appeal. Why do you think this $1 million number became such a powerful psychological anchor? It's sold as this magic cure-all. You hit seven figures, and poof, you're set for life.
Well, it's sticky because it's a beautiful round number. It's an exceptional headline.
Easy to remember.
It's so easy to remember. It gives you an immediate, tangible finish line, which is, great for marketing. It's great for motivation. But the second you start relying on it as an actual plan,
That's where it falls apart.
it becomes deeply flawed. It's a generalized target, and it's pretty much useless on its own because it tells you nothing, absolutely nothing about the critical personal variables that actually define your readiness for retirement.
So it's an abstract benchmark for a person who doesn't really exist.
Exactly. It doesn't adjust for your life, your location, or your goals.
I can see how, if you're just starting out, having any big number feels better than no number.
Mm.
But you mentioned it ignores five essential personal factors. Which of those five do you think causes the most damage when people ignore it?
It's tough to pick just one, but I'd say the combination of the second and third factors, when you retire and how long you'll live, that combo can instantly make $1 million not nearly enough.
Okay, break that down.
So let's say we have two listeners. Both have $1 million saved up. Listener one plans to retire at 67, maybe lives to be about 90, pretty standard.
Right.
But listener two hits financial independence early, retires at 45, and is planning for a long, healthy life, maybe into their late 90s.
Wow. Okay, that's a difference of, 22 years of drawing an income? The second person's million has to stretch almost twice as long.
Precisely. For that person retiring at 45, $1 million is often a catastrophic failure of a plan because they haven't factored in the aggressive growth or higher savings they'd need to cover an extra 2 decades of life.
They focused on the number, not the timeline.
They focused only on the number.
And the sources also point out the role of portfolio mechanics, which is factor 4, how your portfolio is invested. I mean, a risk-averse saver who keeps everything in cash or low-yield bonds is going to need way more capital than someone with a diversified portfolio, right?
Oh, absolutely. A super conservative portfolio might only generate, say, 2% growth above inflation. I mean, your savings are barely outrunning the cost of living at that point.
You're just treading water.
Barely. In contrast, someone taking on appropriate market risk might see 6 or 7% real returns. That significantly extends the life of that same $1 million nest egg. The rate of return is the silent multiplier of how long your money lasts.
And then there's the fifth factor, which is flexibility.
Yes. And we can't forget that one. If the market crashes 30% right after you retire, a rigid plan based only on that $1 million figure is going to unravel so fast.
Right.
A successful plan has to include the flexibility to maybe reduce spending for a bit or find new income streams if the environment changes. The $1 million myth gives you zero guidance on that.
So if we look at those five factors, spending, timeline, longevity, portfolio risk, and flexibility, they're all deeply personal. And on top of that, this simple number also completely ignores other income streams.
Which so many people rely on.
Exactly. We know many of our listeners will draw from Social Security or maybe a legacy pension, or they plan to work part-time. It just raises the question, Why focus on this abstract round number instead of our actual personal numbers?
It's a substitution of easy comfort for hard math.
That's a good way to put it.
And that substitution is incredibly dangerous. And you can see that danger most clearly when we talk about the geographic reality check.
Ah, location, location, location.
It's fascinating because your ZIP code where you live matters as much, if not more, than your actual savings balance. There was maybe a time, decades ago, when $1 million gave you a pretty even standard of living across the country.
That time is long gone.
Long gone. Today, the purchasing power of $1 million varies so wildly that hitting 7 figures gives you no confidence at all until you know where you plan to spend it.
Let's make this really real for the listener. The sources gave a specific, tangible contrast that I think is really powerful.
Let's hear it.
If you take your $1 million and try to retire in a high cost of living city like San Francisco or New York, well, the sources say that some barely covers what you'd call a modest retirement.
It might not even be modest.
It could be really constrained. Housing, taxes, services.
Yeah.
They just eat up that capital. Your $1 million might literally just be the down payment on a small home.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
now take that same amount of money, that same $1 million, and move to a lower cost of living state. Say rural Arkansas or parts of the Midwest.
Totally different story.
It's a completely different story. That money provides a perfectly comfortable lifestyle for years. You could probably buy a home outright, which just slashes your overhead costs. Your purchasing power shoots up by 30, 40, even 50%,
Just by changing your ZIP code.
just by making a different geographical choice.
So the lesson here isn't just about saving more. It's about optimizing where you spend. The real question for you isn't, did I hit 7 figures? It has to be, can my savings support my actual lifestyle in my chosen location?
And if the answer is no, the number is meaningless. It doesn't matter how many digits it has. And this is why we have to shift the conversation from these arbitrary goals to cold, hard, personal math.
Okay, let's do some of that math. Let's use a quick common calculation to give everyone a major reality check. We're going to use the 4% withdrawal rule for this.
The famous 4% rule.
The famous or infamous 4% rule. And I do want to note, the sources are very clear that this rule is itself problematic today, which we will get to at the end. But for this calculation, it works perfectly.
Okay, so if you follow that conventional 4% rule, where you withdraw 4% of your balance in year one and then adjust for inflation, your $1 million provides you with only $40,000 a year.
$40,000 annually.
Yeah.
Before taxes.
Before taxes, yeah.
So that's your theoretical retirement paycheck from that big nest egg. Now, let's connect that to the real world. The latest data we have shows the real median household income in 2023 was over $80,000.
We can just use 80,000 for simple math.
Right.
And that is the terrifying disconnect. If the typical American household is living on 80,000, but your $1 million nest egg is only generating half of that 40,000, you are facing a severe drop in your quality of life.
Wait, it's not just a drop. The conventional target is literally half of what the average American lives on today. So if I want to maintain the average American lifestyle of $80,000 a year, and I'm only using the 4% rule,
You'd need $2 million.
not $1 million, $2 million.
Exactly. The math just shows that the $1 million myth is, for the median American, a goal that is 100% too low.
Wow.
It shows how following this simple, piece of conventional wisdom leads to you constantly having to play catch up or forcing you to dramatically cut your spending or even pushing you back into the workforce.
All because you thought you hit the magic number.
You thought you hit the jackpot at $1 million, but the math shows you've only secured the foundation for a very modest lifestyle or, one that is heavily dependent on Social Security filling that $40,000 gap.
Okay, the message is loud and clear. The number is useless without context. But if we agree we have to ignore that abstract $1 million goal, what should you, the listener, do instead? What's the concrete, actionable solution here?
We have to shift the focus. We move from the arbitrary savings balance to the required annual income.
Start with the ends in mind.
You reverse engineer it. You start with the life you want. You figure out the cost of that life, and then you save to meet that specific figure.
So how do you do that?
You build a plan based on your lifestyle and your goals. We advise you to map out 3 key personal variables first.
Okay.
First is the timeline. When do you really, truly want to retire? Second is the geographic reality. Where are you going to live? factoring in everything, taxes, housing, all of it.
And the third.
The third is the lifestyle quality. What kind of life do you want? Is it travel heavy and expensive, or is it modest, focusing on local hobbies? You have to be honest about that.
That makes perfect sense. The goal isn't the number. The goal is the dollar value of the lifestyle you want. So once you've quantified that, let's say you figure out you need $75,000 a year for your dream life in your chosen location, what's the next practical step?
The next step is to take that number, that 75,000, and work backward. You need to estimate two crucial things. First, what other reliable income streams will you have?
Social Security, pensions.
Social Security,
Yeah.
pensions, rental properties, whatever. And second, how much of a gap do your savings need to cover?
So if your $75,000 lifestyle is offset by $30,000 from Social Security,
Then your savings only need to generate 45,000 a year. And that number, the 45,000, is what you plug into a trusted retirement calculator. It uses realistic growth inflation numbers, and it will give you a customized nest egg target.
a target that is your number.
It'll be your number. It might be 1.1 million or it might be 2.5 million. But it won't be a generalized, meaningless target.
So you shift from chasing 7 digits to figuring out the customized savings and investment strategy that delivers your desired income. That switch from a general goal to a custom income target, that's the biggest takeaway here.
I think so. Knowledge is most valuable when you understand it and apply it. The main synthesis from this deep dive is really simple. Retirement readiness is a highly customized equation.
Right.
Your ZIT code, your spending habits, your personal goals, these are infinitely more important than chasing some generic 7-figure number. You have to ditch the headline and focus on your own ledger.
Absolutely. The $1 million myth is appealing because it's simple, but your life is complex. And as we close out, we want to leave you with one final thought to explore on your own.
Oh.
We use the 4% withdrawal rule for our math, right? Because it's so often cited with the $1 million myth.
Yeah.
But as we noted, the sources say that this rule is now pretty problematic for today's investor.
And here's where it gets really interesting. That 4% rule was based on economic data and market returns from decades ago.
A different world.
A completely different world. Today, you have increased market volatility, you have historically low interest rates affecting bond returns, and you have significantly longer lifespans.
So we really want to encourage you to consider this and explore it. What are the specific systemic and economic reasons why the 4% rule, another piece of widely accepted conventional wisdom, may actually fail in practice for someone retiring today?
And what are the replacement rules or strategies that financial experts are now recommending to make sure your money lasts well into your 90s? That is definitely something worth researching on your own time.